Okay, shall we start? Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon. Welcome, everyone, for this pre-session of KM Brazil 2021. It's a pleasure for me to be here and this online session. Since last year was our first Congress, KM Brazil Congress in online mode, right? And now we keep going with this, so it's very nice. Then we can bring many experts like Rachad, that is in the other side of the Atlantic now. So welcome, Rachad. And so for you that is attending this session now, just a reminder, you can select the translation. We have translation for this session in your Deutsch environment. You just click where it's written selecione, then you select Portuguese for the translation of the audio, okay? I would like to thank a lot Uninove. It's our partner on this event again. It's very good to be with you again. Great job together last year, so it's good to keep the partnership going. And also, we have Glossa Communication with us doing this translation. So we have Karine Souto and Fernanda Vitarelli. They will be the interpreters of this session. So, Rachad, they will be your voice in Portuguese, okay? So, just a little bit about our expert today. He has a doctoral degree in industrial engineering and master in software engineering since 2012 from the Grenoble Institute of Technology in France. So he's in France now, working for GE, right? And he will chat a little bit more about this. Yeah, he has in his thesis, he needed to use a lot of his extensive knowledge in knowledge management and in order to do this, right? He's also has several scientific publications in very many journals and conferences, so you can look for him through the net. So since 2013, he's leading GE Renewable Energy. With he's accountable to define the knowledge architecture for the KM communities. And also, he has a very interesting achievement on savings regarding the KM program. So it's $1.5 million. So it's something to look at, right? So let's try to learn a lot from his experience here. And also, since in 2008 until 2011, he was the responsible to make he was an advisor in the Dubai Land Department, and he was restructuring and put the knowledge architecture working there, and these efforts brought the EFKM award. So maybe he can tell us a little bit in the end of this session about this, how it was. So I think I would, there is another important information. Sorry, Rachad, we didn't chat about this. We chat about this. He's a new father. So he has a baby with him now. So he's really, it's a challenge to be in this session because, you know, new father has a lot of no sleeping and a lot of working, new kind of job to deal with, right? So I think, well, my name is Renata Dalmasso. I did not introduce myself. I'm a volunteer at SBGC for, I don't know, long time. And I'm glad to be part of this team to make the KM conversation grow in Brazil. And now I'm working also at Amazon in the knowledge management area there. And that's it. I think now it's time to hear from Rachad. So the word is with you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Renata, for this very kind and comprehensive introduction. I wish I can speak Portuguese. It will be my fourth language after English, French, and Arabic. But Brazil, and thank you for having me at this KM Brazil conference for 2021. It has a special heart to my heart, the Brazil as a country, because I'm originally from Lebanon. And I was last checking how many Lebanese were living in Brazil, and they were 7 millions Lebanese living in Brazil. In Lebanon, we are around 6 millions. So Brazil is our second home. And I know many friends, either Lebanese or Brazilian, they love the Lebanese cuisine, hummus, kibbeh, tabbouleh, and I know how to cook them. So anytime you are most welcome to visit France. I'm located in Grenoble on the Alps mountains where I learned doing the ski. It's on the border with Swiss. So you can anytime visit me, have some time, eat some Lebanese food, and enjoy the nature here. Maybe one last thing I can share related to the Brazilian culture. We inherited the mate culture, the drink, and I don't call it a drink because it's an experience. It's a ritual. Whenever my friends and myself, we drink mate, it's a session. It's 1 hour and a half. We chat, we eat, we drink. So we have this habit from you. We inherited and we continue to exchange most of our values and cultures as countries and as cultures. So that's it from my side. Yes. And finally, I am a father, a new father for a new baby born. I'm most proud of it in my life as achievement. It's another challenge, another, let's say, perspective to look at. Very tiring, but very rewarding. And now my happiness when my baby, he's called Leo, when Leo finishes his milk, his dose, like 90 milliliters, I'm most happy. This is my reward when he finishes the milk without any crying or anything unexpected. So that's it from my side. Again, it's a pleasure to speak at this conference. It will be more a conversation together to share my experience at GE Renewable Energy. It's a journey. I will not claim any, let's say, finishing statement or any objectives that we have done it. It's always continuous learning. It's day by day, and it's never ending. So without further ado, let me state the problem. So what we are trying to achieve, and what's the problem, in fact? What are the pain points? So at GE Renewable Energy, we have identified many problems or pain points, but let me state the most painful. Problem statement number one, the cost associated to warranty and unplanned maintenance activities has increased drastically. and the online time for our machines installed at the customers didn't reach our target, which is 98%. So we want our machines to be online at the customer 98% of the time, which is not the case. And we have investigated further a bit more, and we did 5 whys and the 8D methodology, and we understood that the problems are recurring. The problems at the customer sites are recurring, and the problems associated to our machines are common and repeated and duplicated. So we asked ourselves how we can, let's say, leverage the know-how, the solutions from one customer to another, from one site to another, from one machine to another. So this is our first initial question. Our second question and second problem was related to the how many hours our employees spend per week to find assistance. And assistance really in the big term of the word, assistance in the term of expertise. So I'd like to access to find expert people that I can connect with and help me to solve my issue, or just to give me some insights or ideas. So our employees, they wait per week 5.3 hours for assistance, either searching for an information, a documentation, a person to help them. And what do they do while waiting? They either reinvent the wheel. So they try to create the same solution, or they try to do some workarounds. And guess what was with workarounds? Whenever we try to make shortcuts, we create another problem, a new problem, a bigger problem. So we asked ourselves how we can connect our employees together, how we can map the content to the people, the content, the know-how, the documents to the person who are looking for it, searching for it. So now we have a solid basis to answer and to establish a direction to it. So the first one was how we can reuse solutions for common and repeated problem. And the second statement was how we can connect and map our know-how, our knowledge to our people. And we elaborated another statement, and conviction. Before we build any product like wind turbines, generators, hybrid systems, or control systems, we want to build our people in terms of expertise and capabilities. So we asked the questions that we are trying to answer. How would we develop tomorrow's engineering expertise in the context of lean principles? The whole company as a one is going through a transformation of being a lean company, of being more effective, efficient, streamlined in terms of processes, expertise, and activities. So within this context, how we can develop tomorrow expertise. And the key word here is tomorrow, because we have already today expertise and we are developing them. But we ask ourselves, in order to stay competitive and in order to stay ahead of the competition, to develop the new products, to introduce new technologies, we need tomorrow expertise and tomorrow capabilities. So how we can develop those future-proof expertise? Our organization at Renewable Energy is really the most distributed, geographically dispersed, and the most decentralized in terms of cost center and the profitability. Even if we are renewables, but within renewables, we have 7 sub-businesses, 7 tier 2 businesses. The wind businesses, the hydro businesses, the hybrids, the digital services, the grid, the solar, the battery business, the newly developed. So all those businesses have one thing in common, just the word renewable. But practically the technologies, the processes, the expertise are different. The way we design a hydraulic turbine that generates 1 gigawatt is totally different than the way we design a wind turbine that generates maximum 150 megawatt in terms of onshore wind power. So we have too many complexities, and we said let us try to leverage as much as possible, the expertise, the solutions, and our capabilities across all those 7 businesses. So we needed an architecture. So in order to put in context or to harmonize all those expertise across the 7 businesses, we need some framework, some architecture to think within this framework and to have some kind of design thinking, to be consistent and to be really rational about it. So this architecture has to answer a basic question. Where do we learn? Where we develop our expertise? And where we connect with our colleagues and where we find or seek expert opinion or in information. So we have identified 3 areas where we learn and where we develop expertise. The first one is expertise development in partnership with the HR functions, where we developed our career path and where we assess our competencies, identify any kind of development plan, put it in place, and then we can follow it. The second area was problem-solving capacity. So when we solve a problem, we are doing on-the-job learning. This is experiential learning. We learn from experience when we solve a problem. And in this area where we need to connect with our colleagues and our experts, so they can help us to learn how to solve our issues. The third area is related to programmed learning. So any online course, any training material, any classroom that we follow for our engineers to learn instructor-led based trainings. And by the end of those trainings, we validate some kind of competencies. So to make it more comprehensive and detailed, so we have 9 modules, so 3 areas and 9 learning modules. The first one is competency model, associated with the coaching and mentoring program. The second is our knowledge sharing communities, which is part of our knowledge sharing program. We call it knowledge sharing. We don't like the word knowledge management because we believe it's our people. We need to facilitate the flow of knowledge with our people. We can't really manage the knowledge itself, but we can organize and we can facilitate the access to those people and consequently the knowledge that they have. The fourth module is a discovery and search engine, because the first thing we do whenever we try to learn something, we search. So where I can find this documentation, who can help me? So we are in a search inquiry and a search stance on how we can find help. Another module is the training, e-learning catalog, the online offering of courses where we register, enroll in a training course, we follow it, and then we validate those competencies. And finally, the lessons learned from the projects, from the execution, what we can learn from our projects and what we can reuse in terms of lessons learned for the next projects. All those learnings, they need to be integrated into the engineering handbook. We call it design practice. This is the engineering know-how, the engineering handbook of how to design a component, a step-by-step methodology. And we have to do it in a Hansei and Kaizen attitude. And this is the lean part of the transformation. So it's not enough to be passive learning. So we don't want only to learn what exists, but we want to really challenge our biases and our existing learnings for something new. And this is the Hansei attitude. When we self-reflect on our learnings, on our assumptions, and we question, can we do it differently? Is there another way to do it? How we can improve it? When we self-reflect on our learnings, then we can generate new knowledge and new learnings. And then the Kaizen attitude is more related to the implementation of those improvement actions and those learning actions into something practical. So this is our architecture, our thinking framework, where we resonate in terms of any learning and expertise development. So the next slide, the next three or four slides are more related to the alignment, how we align the lean organization to the learning organization to the knowledge management program. I will not go into details in the lean. What interests me really here is the thinking aspect, or the lean thinking, the lean fundamentals. Normally, any transformation toward a lean focus on the process improvement part. So this is where the standard work, pool, Kanban, value flow, value stream. Those tools focus on process improvement. But most of the transformation really misses the heart of the lean, is the lean thinking, which is the learning organization, our ability to individually learn something new and transfer it to the whole organization. And our ability as well to develop problem-solving capacity. So I want to focus today in the learning organization module. This is our focus. So let us zoom in inside the learning organization. So at high level, a learning organization takes as input the expertise, the engineering know-how, the experiences, the feedback of experience, technical documentation, and then output new learnings or documented learnings in terms of technical university, design practice, solution knowledge base, coaching, mentoring. And then we need some enablers like sponsorship, change management. Of course, this is people change management. It's not the deployment of a new IT tool or IT system. It's all about changing the mindset, the culture of our employees. That's why the change management program is enabler along with the sponsorship of the leadership and the top management. Well, the learning organization itself, if we zoom in a little bit, it has multiple modules, and this is exactly the reflection of our architecture. So we can find again the competency model, the knowledge sharing programs, the lessons learned, the design practice. This is our architecture, but now in more structured approach, interconnected, so we can really understand the connection between all those learning modules or activities. For today's session, we will focus on the knowledge sharing program. This is in the context of the conference directions and in the context of the knowledge management approach on how we are going to enable the learning organization. Our knowledge sharing program, if I zoom in a little bit more, it has 6 applications. So 6 knowledge management applications or knowledge sharing applications. We start with the peer-to-peer problem resolution. The second application is knowledge finder, critical knowledge finder. So we search for previously solved solution. The third application is expertise finder. So we search for people that they can help me. The fourth application is proactive learning, and this is the wiki aspect of the program. So whenever we solve problems together in a community, we transfer it and we write it down as a wiki article, document it, and formalize it for later reuse. The fifth module is the community capability report. This is the reporting part. So again, whenever we solve something, we generate something new, we diffuse it, we make it visible to the whole organization. And finally, the mentorship connect, whenever we need to transfer knowledge from senior to novice, or even from one country to another, from one site to another, we engage in a mentorship connection. My final slide is really to show the alignment between the lean organization, the learning organization, and the knowledge management program. So the idea here, whenever we engage in a knowledge management activity, it has to be linked to the higher objective or to the organizational objective. to the, let's say, to the strategy of the company or the strategic direction of the company. So if we define the problem-solving capacity as a company objective, as a strategic objective, which is part of our lean transformation, this is the whole company, then we ask ourselves which modules in the learning organization enables the achievement and the development of a problem-solving capacity. And then we identified the design practice and the knowledge management program. And then specifically, we ask ourselves which modules exactly can enable the implementation or the development of those problem-solving capacity. And then we identify the peer-to-peer problem resolution in a community-based mode, and then the critical knowledge finder. So we want to solve our problems within those knowledge sharing communities, those social groups, affinity groups, and then we need to retain those solutions in a finder, in a search engine, so we can find them again and reuse them. And this exactly will be my practical demonstration. So in the next part, I will demonstrate how we solve problems in community mode, and then how we can find those solutions using our search and discovery engine. So this is a reminder. This is our reasoning framework. This is our architecture. We want to resonate in some methodological way. And today's session will focus on the knowledge sharing communities. Okay, so let's move to the practical side, specifically the knowledge sharing program. So the URL, it was on purpose. We created something short and can be memorized. So sharing.ge.com is the URL of our knowledge sharing program. Sharing.ge.com, anyone can memorize it, can access the portal, and then can engage in his or her respective community. So recently we have too many security policies. We are working remotely, and we have to comply with all those distance collaboration policies. Okay, so this is the landing page of the knowledge sharing program. You can see this is the community view. So for all GE businesses, you can see the aviation business. They have their own knowledge sharing communities. Gas power, they have their own knowledge communities. Renewable energy, which is I am in charge of this business. We have our own knowledge sharing communities, and we organize them by discipline. So all management and organization communities can be found here: process and tools, product and systems, science and technology, and services. And then we have transversal or common communities for all GE. For example, ANSYS community, electronics community, lean community, robotics. It doesn't make sense really to create electronics community for every business. Electronics is a physical discipline. It's physics. Doesn't change the fundamentals. So we have only one electronics community for all GE. ANSYS, again, ANSYS is a simulation software. So it's around 4,000 members all engaged in one community. Then this landing page, if I switch from the community view to the people view, and this is where all our learning philosophy, it's people-centric philosophy. Here I start to search for people that can help me and do my job. So for example, if I'm working on wind resource assessment, this is a technical concept at GE related to wind turbines. So if I type wind resource assessment, and then I want to find all the people related to wind resource assessment as a technical concept. So I type here the keywords, and this is part of our taxonomy. I will explain later on how those keywords were defined. It's not like folksonomy, like Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, hashtag COVID-19. This is folksonomy. It kind of grows in all directions. But we are talking about taxonomy, which is very, let's say, disciplined approach to classify and organize our key concepts. So I type WRA as a key concept, then I can have the people who are working in WRA. I can even filter by business. So I can put aviation, digital, gas power, or even just renewable energy. So those people, Dustin, Alexis, Mark, all work in WRA. We call this card or this rectangle, we call it knowledge profile. So on the front end of the profile, we have the basic information that are connected with the HR system, like the title, the business, the location, email, and so on. But what's interesting, when I rotate those cards, when I flip to the second phase of those cards, this is where the discovery starts. So now I can discover that Antonio is working on WRA, but he's working as well on MLA, mechanical load assessment. He's working as well on Wind Studio. He's working on Max 3000. If that's interesting for me, or if I can relate to what Antonio is working on, most probably Antonio community will be my community. And most probably the people that Antonio work with, most probably I should work with them. So if this is the case, if I'm working as well on MLA, WRA, Max 3000, then I need to explore and discover the systems engineering, modeling, and performance community. So I click on it. And then this community will open up. We have a standard interface and a standard experience for all communities. We have a lot of engineers move from one business to another, from one team to another, and we want to have a standard look and feel. The community here, we have too many features and functionalities. I will highlight only 3 main functionalities. And maybe if you are interested in more functionalities, we can do it in later sessions, or we can have it in the questions and answer part. So the first functionality is about expertise. So again, our intention and our driver is to develop expertise and to develop learnings. So if I go to my left-hand side of the community, here I can find the expertise part. So I click on expertise, and this is where I continue to discover what this community is about. Who are the members of this community? Do I fit in this community or not? Do I belong in this community or not? And this is where I explore the people about this community. So here we have differentiated between an expert. In GE vocabulary, we call them control title holder. This is a vocabulary to say that these people are experts and officially recognized by the company as experts. And then we have the remaining members where we associated, it is self-initiated process, what Wilfred is interested in or have some kind of expertise. And expertise are different than expert. Expertise means I'm still learning, I'm still acquiring those competencies, I'm still developing those experiences. So I can continue and see Alfredo, Antonio, and the mapping between a person, a people, and the content and the know-how. I can even search using the taxonomy. You will see this taxonomy everywhere. And this is really the intelligence behind our technology. So if I click on this tree icon, I can see the list of the taxonomy. This is typically a taxonomy. So if I expand all, you can see in level 1, level 2, fashion, so aero and acoustics. This is a level 1. What will be the sub keywords and the subtopics under aero? So I can see blade, machine noise, NRO, and so on. So let's continue with our example WRA, wind resource assessment. So I can find those keywords as part of the taxonomy. I click on confirm. And then what will happen? A filter will be applied, and I am only exposed to the people working on WRA. So I can discover that Wilfred, Antonio, Patricia, Miguel, Dustin, and so on are working on WRA. What's interesting, WRA is not only a label or a tag, it's a curator. So whenever I click on WRA, it will become to life. So this WRA item will act as curator. And let us dive into WRA within the specific page of WRA. So what will happen here? There's a curation happening, aggregation. So any content related to WRA will appear in this page. So now I have 19 discussions here related to WRA. And if I am a WRA engineer, I will go through these discussions, previously solved discussions. So this one, for example, negative flow. If I understand, and this is my area of interest or work, I can go inside, read what is negative upflow. I can see Nicholas who asked the question, Mark, Peter, Sarah, Nicholas. So I can go through all this discussion and then get the resolution about this question. I can switch as well to the expertise. So if there's any expertise related to WRA, I can find them here, and then I can go to contact them and have further discussions. If there's any training event related to WRA, those trainings events will appear here. And if there's any blog around WRA, they will appear here as well. So now WRA is acting as curator, and this is the learning page or the learning resource for WRA. Everything is curated and organized in a similar fashion. Let me move now to the second functionality, which will be share experience or ask question. We differentiate between asking a question and sharing experience because there's a lot of emotional intelligence going in the community, especially in the infancy phase of the community, in the early stages of the community. When we tell people ask questions, they are intimidated. They don't want to look incompetent in front of their colleagues or in front of 300 persons. So we tell them instead, share us your story. Share us what you know, what you have solved. Share with us your solutions. In very easy way. We don't need any PhDs or dissertations. Just type the title, type a little bit of the description, and then here put your solution. And again, here you will find the taxonomy icon. So I will tag my question or my experience with aero and acoustics. So what will happen here? Automatically, whoever has nominated him or herself with aero and acoustics as expertise, she or he will be notified immediately that there are a new experience related to aero and acoustics, and maybe it will be interesting for you. What we can do as well, we call it something, we call it sister communities. Here in this field, you can see those communities as sisters. So for example, Drivetrain is a sister community to to model, to engineering, to systems engineering, modeling, and performance. So what will happen if I put as CC? Think about it as CC. If I'm writing email, if I put the drivetrain community to this experience, automatically and simultaneously, my experience will be shared with drivetrain. I don't know who is working inside drivetrain, but all what I know is this experience related to drivetrain. So this experience will happen, will be visible to the drivetrain community. The experts in the drivetrain community will answer, will update, will enrich my experience, and automatically their input will be visible in my community. And in this way, we have the power of connectivity. We have connected our domains between systems engineering and drivetrain without really knowing who is working or who is member of drivetrain. That's because initially we have the architecture, because we have the design thinking approach of our collaboration. We have this kind of top-down approach for our collaboration, and we understand who is connected to whom. Maybe if I can show some slide, it will make the idea much more clearer about the knowledge architecture and this design thinking approach to our collaboration. So before going into execution and before implementing any community, we don't want to recreate the Yammer effect, the popcorn effect of Yammer. Every 30 seconds or every 1 minute, we have new Yammer community. Instead, we want to say, this is our 25 or 30 knowledge sharing communities. This is a comprehensive approach. This is our architecture. So systems engineering, the community that I was demonstrating, because we designed our collaboration using the system thinking approach, we know with which community is connected to the grid connection and integrating. And now when we share a question with the grid connection, we get the insights and the input from the grid connection without knowing who is working there. So this way of system thinking approach enabled us to connect our domains together and to leverage the people and the expertise working in every respective domain. Okay. So this is my second functionality. I still have one functionality to show. So if I go back to community homepage. So now the question is, we have the discussion forum. That's great for informal collaboration, peer-to-peer collaboration, free form of thinking between colleagues. But what if I want to formalize and I want to structure those know-how and solutions from a threaded discussion to something more structured? And this is where the wiki part. So every community has its own wiki space. So if I click on GE Wiki for systems engineering specifically, so I will get the wiki space for the systems engineering community. I have to go through the multi-factor authentication and all those security policies. Okay, now we are loading the wiki space of the same community, systems engineering, modeling, and performance. We have the moderator, he's an expert. And then we have those taxonomy again, aero and acoustics. And then if I search for the wind resource assessment, I find again wind resource assessment, the same taxonomy governing all the content, independent of the type, whether it is a wiki, a video, a question, a person, a PDF, any type of content should be governed by the taxonomy. So I can see the wind resource assessment software and the related wiki article. So if I load a wiki article, by the way, we are using the same technology used by Wikipedia. The technology is called Wikimedia. This is the software or the platform, and we customized, it's an open source. We customized the Media Wiki to connect to our backend SharePoint platform. So this article, Order of Optimization, was developed after initially was launched as a discussion, as a question answer. And then the moderators, the community leadership team here, you can see them here, they transformed the discussion into something more structured, into something more reusable. So later, anyone who is asking a question related to order of optimization, they can send him this link. He can read this article, and then he can apply. And this is how we have leveraged the individual learning happening and make it available to the collective, to everyone else in the community. So this is how we move from something very informal, open form of thinking, questions answer, to something very structured, robust, and formal and mature. So those will be my three main functionalities. We have I have another one, but maybe we can do it in the questions answer part. It's more related to the measurements, metrics, KPIs, dashboard, and all those analytics. I'll pause a little bit here. Maybe Renata, you can take it from here.
Okay, thank you, Rachad, for the great presentation. It's really inspiring, right? We already have a question there in the chat, but before more questions arrive, I would like to just pass through what we have seen here in order to make people post their questions. And even you mentioned that ask questions. It's intimidating and emotional part involved, yes, right? Yes. Rachad, you mentioned that. But more than you turn that more in share experience. So please also share your experience here in the chat. Then you can start to bring more information and more discussion on this session. Well, just a little bit. You started mentioning about the problems you have to solve, right? Yes. Basically was two problems. The downtime, so the availability should be more than 98%, right? And the incredible one, it's 5.3 hours waiting, right? Waiting, yes, for assistance, waiting for finding support or co-workers that could help on that specific issue that you were into. So this is, I think this is a very common problem in yes, several industries, right? And several companies. I used to work in a telecommunication area, so downtime, it's like hell. So yes, it cannot be down. You yes, can imagine the mobile not working. So it's yes, it's unacceptable, right? So this is a very, very problems, issues, very strong issues to solve, right? So then you started to dig down how you solve those problems, and also the main message was from the beginning, right? Build people before build products.
Correct.
So yes, if people are not prepared, you cannot build the best products, right? Exactly. So this is important. The focus on people, it's really, really important. And what we see here all the time, it's really the way to surround the people with no escape, right? You can find whatever you want so for the many perspectives. So the perspective of the knowledge and the perspective of the people, and you can find the expert or you can find the knowledge. So you really connect everything, and no reason to escape not having the solution, right?
Correct.
And also the idea of harmonize the expertise across the world, across the company. So this is a very very important, because the company must know. So even if you have experts and you are not an expert, or of course, we don't have many experts. So how to really have everybody's knowledge from the experts. So I see that the job you have done you all have done in GE achieved that, right? Harmonizing this expertise. Also, you mentioned something very interesting. You cannot manage the knowledge. Yeah, we say knowledge management, but we cannot manage the knowledge. So we can organize the connections. So we can organize how to share it. Yes. And then you manage the knowledge. You don't tell, but you are able to, right? Another thing important that you mentioned, it's not enough to be passive learning, right?
Yes.
So this is really a message that for the thing that is now everybody is talking about this, the lifelong learning. So this is essential. So this is how you have to work and think when we are talking about the learning, the learning organization, right?
Correct.
So this is really, really important. And you mentioned the 6 applications, knowledge sharing applications that we have, and then you start to really tie those things together, right? When you say the peer-to-peer solution, the critical knowledge finder, so you reduce the time you look for the 5.3 hours, you reduce that, and then you can find either the knowledge or the expert, right? Also, when you transform the informal chat, the forum, the discussion forum, which is informal, more question and answer, and then you chat on that, how to transform that. Okay, that is the solution. So we'll put that in a wiki. And just another comment. He mentioned, you congresses that are here, it's an open source environment that they are using there. So it's possible, really, because when you see, we see all this beautiful system that you have here, people might think, how we manage this without a system, without money to build this incredible system, how to do this. So this is a question maybe we can you can comment on. And also, I would like to call attention. It's not really written in your slides, but you mention all the time, reuse.
Yes.
So the key is how to not repeat the same mistakes, all this story that we heard about, it's real. How to reuse all the time. All these developments are managing you to putting you able to reuse what we have done before. So reuse the expertise, reuse the problems that were solved before. So reuse, it's also a key here. I think I'll stop chatting here, and then let's move to, okay, one question is this
Mhm.
one that doing without money, but maybe we could start with one question from Leandro Loss. Leandro Loss is also a voluntary at SBGC, and he was the one that responsible to bring you to us, Rachad. And
Yes.
thank you a lot, Leandro, to bring him to us and share his experiences here. So the question from Leandro is, dear Rachad, thank you for the very interesting presentation. Regarding the taxonomy, how many levels do you have? Did you use a specific tool to tag all the content based on the taxonomy?
Yes, exactly. Well, first, I'm thankful and privileged because not only Leandro has connected me to the conference, but also he assisted to the session, and I feel touched and very thankful. And Leandro is one of the respectful and notorious KM leader in the industry. This is a very good question related to the taxonomy. Well, first of all, in life science like biology or chemistry or physics, the taxonomy is 7 levels. So if we are classifying the species like birds, animals, we can reach up to 7 levels. In professional context, in enterprise level, we started and we tried to have 3 levels, but it was very time-consuming, intellectually consuming, and people or leaders who tried to define 3 levels, they were exhausted and they couldn't really put everything into 3 levels because we are not really here. We are trying to classify our tacit knowledge, our experiences, our experience-based information. We are not really trying to classify some fundamental sciences. So then we said, let us use 2 levels. We will simplify and use 2 levels, and it will become more easier and intuitive for the leaders to use 2 levels, and as well for the end users. They don't need to navigate through a long tree of 3 levels. Now they navigate through 2 levels. For example, here you can see, for example, this one, critical design review. I have load criteria, performance criteria. That's it. So much intuitive, effective, and straight to the point. Now, the second part of the question, the tool. We are using Mondeca as a tool because we need to define synonyms and we need to define relationships. For example, conceptualize and design. Those 2 are synonyms. They mean the same thing. To draw some plans or to specify a product. So we need to define some kind of synonyms and relationships, and specifically because we need to connect at semantic level different concepts or different teams. For example, the generator team and the turbine team and the control team and let's say the excitation team. So without having some kind of metadata and meta level of connecting those concepts, we can't really exactly find the know-how and put in context a keyword or concepts. SharePoint has its own term store. So if anyone doesn't like to use Mondeca, SharePoint has its own, let's say, taxonomy tool, term store, which is not bad. But it has some limitation regarding the synonyms and the relationships or vocabularies. Hope I answered the question.
Okay, thank you. Yes, we see we have another, great, we have another question here from Hercules Honorato. Mm-hmm. He's saying, not everybody is eager to share their knowledge because they believe that it's mine, right? It's individual. So how to bring these people to to be this kind of knowledge sharer, right? To bring these people to really share their knowledge.
Perfect.
What is your advice?
Yes, because it's all about the people. It's not a tool or technology. So here in this slide 16 reasons people don't share their knowledge. Yes, one of them is they don't like because they feel knowledge is power, or they don't want to reduce the dependency on them, or they don't want to eliminate this kind of recognition to them. People, they don't have time as well. They don't trust others. They think knowledge is power. The list never ends. Really, there are too many reasons or excuses why you can call them excuses. And there's also 10 reasons to share knowledge. So I want also to help to learn, to grow, to acquire new skills, and to really validate some assumptions. But the key, my answer, how to influence the people to share their knowledge. The answer is here. If I go back to one community, to this one, for example, how to influence, how to drive engagement, and how to drive participation in communities so they can share their knowledge is by influence here. And the answer is here, community leadership. What we tried too many techniques, like even rewards and recognition and recompensations and awards. All those stuff can work, but the most important is the leadership team. If my leader, my manager, share his knowledge and encourage me to share my knowledge, I will do it. If my colleague shares his knowledge and encourage me to share it, I will do it. If we create this positive climate and this safe climate and this contagious culture and the climate, so everyone is sharing his knowledge, I will follow, I will do it. This is why the secret weapon for any successful community is the leadership team. The sponsor, which should be some kind of notorious, high positioned in terms of expertise. The leader, which should be leading a team, managing a project. And then we have the core team members. The core team members doesn't need to be managers or leaders. They need to be influencers, trusted colleague. If they promote this community and they share it, and then we can have this kind of positivity and let everyone share their knowledge.
Very good. So the secret weapon.
Yeah. Yes.
I like it. the
leadership. Yes.
Exactly. Leadership, encouragement, it's key.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. So we have another question from Julieta Watanabe Wibert. Okay, it's in Portuguese. I will translate. Thank you for the great and didactical presentation. Yeah, it was. Well, considering that GE is a global organization, how you deal with the cultural difference? I mean, the specificities of each culture. Is there anything to make it happen, or to promote the organizational culture in order to make the knowledge flow?
Yes, this is a very good and political question. I will try to be politically correct because yes, there's a difference between every culture, every country, and every, let's say, side of the world. And here we can see the barriers to collaboration and, in a greater sense, the sharing of knowledge. So we have, of course, the time zone differences. When India is waking up, China is sleeping. The space, the politics, the culture, the motivation, the trust, Trust issues are very critical. Languages, although we all speak English, but we don't speak the same English. And we don't understand the same English. And even our mental model, if I tell you mountain, the first interpretation for me, I'm living in the Alps mountain, is the ski. Whenever someone living in Lebanon, it will be hunting. So our mental model for the concepts, for the same word, is different. So how to improve those diversities and those differences through solving problems and showing solutions. At the end of the road, we are an engineering company and we are evaluated for our performance and our productivity. We try to share success stories. And we try to really do some kind of promotion. Let me share some email here. And whenever we share success stories and we let the people speak about the program from different countries, from different cultures, and when I see my colleague is sharing his experience or his success stories, I will also be encouraged to share mine. So, for example, let me share this kind of culture engagement committee. So this is one of the actions that we have put in place. And we do it by regions. We don't do it globally. Whenever we are trying to deal with cultural sensitive, let's say, activity, we do it locally. We don't do it globally. So we have put in place for Barcelona, for example, a specific culture and engagement committee, which addresses not only the knowledge sharing and the collaboration, but even day-to-day issues and problems and needs related to Barcelona engineers. And one of those actions was awareness session to collaborate and to share their knowledge. And we have identified key brokers, key, let's say, engineers in Barcelona who are well respected and well recognized as their expertise, and they promoted. So this is a really management by influence. It's not management by top management or not management by imposing this kind of change. We need always to create this positive energy, sharing success stories and sharing those stories from the bottom to the up.
Very good, Rachad. And mountain, here in Brazil, when you say it, I think in hiking.
Okay.
So we have another question from, and also Hercules is thankful for your answer. And also Leandro is putting another question here. Would it be possible to share also your experience with the lessons learned?
Yes, well, the lessons learned is totally, yes. Well, okay, let me state before and after. Before we had the one, let's say, lessons learned committee, which is 5 experts and 5 engineers who will meet every 6 months. They will share the top 5 or top 10 lessons learned, highly critical, that cost us a lot of money. And then they try to write it down and integrate it into our lessons learned database. This is a total failure because they rarely, those top 5 engineers expert met. They were drawn in project priorities and customer issues and customer support and customer inquiries. Plus, they missed a lot of lessons learned. We don't want only to capture the top 10. We want to capture any lessons learned, even if it is small, because it can be repeated at multiple sites. So we instead of having a centralized approach to lessons learned, one committee, let us decentralize our lessons learned approach and let every community own its own lessons learned. And this is what we have done with technical tendering. Let's say I'm going to switch to technical tendering community. So technical
Very good.
tendering community, they own their own lessons learned. They capture their lessons learned and they diffuse it back, or they integrate it back into the lessons learned database.
Very good. Very good. So what else? Yeah, they are putting some comments here. This uniqueness of cultural diversity is super important. It's
Yes.
Lilia Mariano put regarding the previous question.
I agree.
So yeah, and also what else? Yes, that's it.
Yeah, so here what I'm sharing, if I go back, so here I am within the technical tendering community, and they have their lessons learned integrated within the community. They own it, which is also connected to the global lessons learned community. And here, if I go to the inquiry to order, ITO, engineering, so this section, control find. Yeah, so this section, inquiry to order, which means technical tendering. This is some kind of process vocabulary. This part, inquiry to order, Hydro Global is responsible and owned by the technical tendering community. So they can run, develop, and capture their own lessons learned, which reduces the charge and the load on the overall committee or the lessons learned committee to gather and to collect and to diffuse the lessons learned. And the lessons learned, maybe I can show the format. What does a lessons learned look like? So it is consistent and systematic. Every lessons learned has a problem description, a recommendation, the attachment, any additional. But what is interesting is the contextual information. So yes, we capture the problem and the recommendation, but what is more interesting is to capture the context. So who has initiated this lesson? Of course, the submitted, the modified, the region, the department, the process owners, the project, the product, the assembly, and any kind of metadata that can help to reconstitute and to regenerate the context and the conditions when and where and why this problem has occurred and under which configuration.
So, but you keep bringing the connections, right? Either when you are inside the community, so you access the related lessons learned, or you can go directly to the global lessons learned database, and then you connect also the people, and then when the problem appear, very, very interesting.
Yes,
very good.
And the key to that connection is the taxonomy. It is one taxonomy for all those applications.
Exactly. Taxonomy, it's very important.
It's
the way we link. Yeah. Tagging in the correct way, it's key.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, more comments here. Excellent. Fernando is put excellent, Rachad. Thank you so much for the KM expertise,
sure.
the sharing with us. And also Julieta is saying, Julieta Wilbert is saying very, very nice examples. Good, it is. Rachad, what
Yes.
about if you tell us a little bit about your metrics or KPIs, because this is some area inside
Yes.
the knowledge management or knowledge sharing that it's really something, right? It's very, sometimes it's not easy to put them on.
Yes.
So can you
Correct.
share your experience on this, please?
Yes, correct. Very quickly, just to share with you, every community has a standard KPIs. Those I call them statistics KPI. They are not business KPIs. And my job is to give meaning to those statistics. Example, every community has unique readers. How many member is reading the content? How many member is adding content, the top collaborators, the content metrics, which content, which document, which audio, video, PDF is most consulted, downloaded. And then we have the community graph. And this is another, maybe it will be another session, the social network analysis, SNA. So who is connected to whom? So I can visually identify, for example, Tatiana as a key broker. So I can see Tatiana, she's connected to all those people and collaborators. So we can do this kind of social network analysis. I will not go into details. And then we have the taxonomy coverage, which concept, which content is the most discussed, associated to a person, elaborated, and has wiki articles. So all those data are really statistics about the usage of the community content and the community discussions. But then what we need to do is to transform all those data and statistics into business value. And just to share with you, for the third quarter 2018, our team and our business has saved just for the third quarter $500,000 in terms of productivity. And productivity, we means by productivity the number of hours has been saved when reusing solutions and when reusing the content or someone else's knowledge. This is our criteria. How many solutions or content was reused by others? And this is how we can save time. What I will like also, we have another kind of KPIs. Every community can has its own KPI. For example, average time to get a solution, less than 2 hours. Reduction by 30% of the time for documentation. Number of resolved issues. So this is really specific to every community. But what I'd like to share with you is a journey. I'm not claiming that we have the perfect system. On contrary, we are very far from having the perfect system. We started this journey in early 2016. In March, we had only 4 community members enrolled, and we had a lot of skeptic persons or people. They are saying, "Oh, this is another tool," or "This is it will not go, or it will go away in 3 months. It will fade away in 3 months." Or someone will say, "Yeah, this is a chatting tool, like internet forums." We had all kind of skeptic people and skeptic persons. We said, and we accepted those. We said, "Okay, no worries. We are continue to listen to you, to understand your pain point, and try to answer your pain points with something valuable." And slowly but surely, it was a snowball effect. In late 2017, we had 4,000, and late 2020, 7,500. That's because we carefully listened to the problems. And the good news, whenever we solve one problem for one person, luckily we are solving the same problem for 100 more persons. This is the bonus part. So problems are repeated and common, and when we solve it for one group, we are solving for too many others. it wasn't easy. It wasn't, let's say, done over emails, or it wasn't done over PowerPoints and meetings. It was done when sitting and near the person, walking through the offices, going and listening one person at a time, one team at a time, one building at a time. We didn't do it in mass or in generic communication. We do it organically. We started small and then we grow. We had a lot of positive people. We didn't do it alone. We had a lot of, we focused on those positive people, enthusiastic, visionary, and those are 10% or 15%. We don't have too many enthusiastic or positive persons, but we can leverage them, we can build, and we can grow, and we can make them contagious. So we worked with some success stories, with some leading teams to show quick wins, to show the value. And then other groups and other teams, they said, we want the same. We want our community. We want the same program. So focus on the early adopters, focus on those persons who are positive, and just be patient about the other groups, the other skepticisms, and the other, let's say, engineers who doesn't have time. We are not judging their intentions, but maybe it's not the right time for them. Maybe it will be the next month for them.
Yes, very good. So transforming the pain points into action, right?
Yes,
action. towards knowledge sharing, how we can manage those. And also you mentioned very, very important thing, that you have to listen. That's it.
Yes, exactly.
Listen each one and everyone. So to transform from nothing to thousands connected. Another thing you mentioned, this listen. Recently in SBGC, we have a recurrent meeting calling SBGC Connections. Mm-hmm. So the one, I think the last session we had, no, the previous one was listening organization. That was the conversation about. So it was very interesting. Then that's it. We have to listen, the organization, listen where is the pain of the areas, and also look to the people that is eager to share and the positive attitude. Then we bring them to contagious. You mentioned before that you have to be contagious. Like we are in the middle of the pandemic, in a pandemic situation. So it's I think everybody knows how to work when we really do this for the good thing, for a good thing, right?
Right.
So any more questions, or you want to mention anything else, Rachad? We still have 5 minutes to, Flavia Celidonio is put, was the power of the listening in the organizational environment. Flavia Celidonio is the one that is conducting these conversations on SBGC Connections. So she is here, commenting this as well. So what else you are sharing?
Yes, I have a final message, but I prefer to wait maybe 1 minute if there's any more questions.
Yes, let's see. Come on, let's call for a message.
One final
or final call.
Final call, yes.
Yeah, very good. A lot of comments here. Yes, I think it's time for. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's time for you to.
Yes, my final message, in fact. Don't lose faith. This is a transformation, and the mindset should not be we have a final destination. We will never have a final destination. It's about day by day. And this is also what I have learned with my new baby born. Every day is different and unique. Every day he has new needs. And this is exactly when we do change management. Every day is unique and has another and different needs. At the end, everything will be okay. If it's not okay, it's not yet the end. Be persistent. Consistency is key to success, and respect the say-do ratio. Um, if you said, I'm going to do it, do it. If you don't do it, you will lose credibility, or I will lose the credibility. I'm talking about myself. I try not to give a lot of promise, not to over-promise or over-exaggerate with expectations. Try to deliver as much as I can while respecting what I have promised in very consistent approach. And people are smart. They are really smart when they see consistency and they see discipline in what I'm offering. They will trust more the program, and they will engage more in what we are offering. Because I believe in any company, there are too many competing programs. At GE, there's not only the knowledge management programs, there's the Lean, there is the Six Sigma, there's hundreds of programs, too many competing programs. Just try to be kind to the people, respectful, consistent, and I respect my word and continue to work day by day and try to answer my colleagues or my leaders and management expectations.
Very good, Rachad. Very good. So don't lose the faith.
Yes.
Basically, is that. Very good. So thank you very much. Thank you a lot. And it was great to have you here, and very, very inspiring presentation, and also, yeah, a lot of insights for us to bring to our company. That's very good. Very, very good. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And I am thankful for this opportunity and for every question and every attendee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.